Welcome to Moksa Workflow Manager Training movies. This is the second movie of exercise number 6. In the first movie we created a new workflow with some examples of moving files and records around in a workflow task. We identified 3 possibilities. One is to move or copy records to another catalog. 2 is to redirect assets based on a Cumulus query. And 3 is record to instruction or instruction to record, is moving files from the input records to the instruction files or instruction files to the input records. There is a 4th way of moving files around, which we already discussed in a previous example where we were moving records to the workflow basket, collection basket, and back to the records. This is the workflow that we built in the previous movie. So we will first in the portal upload or not upload, but select 2 files from another catalog. We will add them to the collection basket and they will be added to this workflow. When the first task is executed, this will move these 2 records into the workflow assets catalog. Then it will search for those records that are PDFs because they are considered to be instruction files, and they will be moved to the instruction files, and the other files will be provided to the designer in a commission task to create a flyer. This person will upload the design under a PDF format. This will be sent to the approver. The approver will, in an approval task, verify the file and approve it. Then we will add the instruction files back into the input records, and we will create a collection basket with both the instruction files and the approved PDF. Let's have a look. I'm logging into Cumulus sites. As mentioned before, you need login permissions in Cumulus, and to be able to access the workflow portal you need the $portal workflow portal permission. I searched in Cumulus to find some records and I added them to my catalog. I searched for them in the sample catalog, and I have a PDF which I consider to be the workflow instructions, and I have a JPEG which I want the user to use in his design. Now I'm going to the workflow portal and I'm selecting my training movie. Should it not appear, remember that in the previous movie I didn't show this, but that you have to enable this check mark to be sure that it is visible in your workflow portal. I click on select, and now when I go to the input records, I click here and automatically I see that I have these records in my workflow. In the next movie I will show you that this can happen automatically, that you don't have to check that. Then we just did the input records, so now we are going to the participants. In this workflow we have 3 participants, so we have a designer, somebody from sales, and somebody from marketing. I could set the administrator, but I'm not going to touch it, and I can give the instructions. Please create flyer for Workflow Manager, and I'm clicking on the save button. At this point everything is checked by the interface and approved, so I can submit and close. At this point the backend will start processing this workflow. So I can either wait for the mails to come in, but if I, as the administrator of this task, want to see the progress, I can click on the Workflow Reporter. You will only have that button of Workflow Reporter if you have the $Workflow Reporter permission. And I'm logging in. On the left, you have predefined filters in your Workflow Reporter to only see those workflows that are interesting for you or to which you have access. So if I go to my active workflows, I will see that I have one workflow in progress. If I go to my task pending, I will see that I have nothing to do here. It's not this person that has to perform a task. That also means if I do open task mail, it will say, no, sorry, there's no task mail for you because the task mail is sent to somebody else. I can click on the current task, and then I can see that this was actually sent to Martin. So if I check the email, I can see that this is the task to perform by Martin. If I click on the mail, I get right into the task, and I see that the file that I uploaded is here in this task, is in the instructions part of this task, and the actual asset that I want the user to use is over here. I can upload my design. I created a design, so I was asked to create a flyer. I created the flyer, and in an approval workflow, usually it's not the InDesign file in which you made the flyer that is uploaded, but the PDF version of it, because an approver might not be able to read PDF. You have all sites functionalities like preview and information window. You can download, check in, check out if you want to make a correction to this file. But if you made a mistake and uploaded the wrong file, you could still delete it. If you're pleased with the result, then you can just say submit. And at this point, Martin's job is done. Now this PDF will be sent to the approver. So if I have a look in the workflow and I refresh, don't forget to refresh, I see that I have no more tasks pending for this person. If I have a look at the next task hasn't started yet, so he's still processing it. If I refresh in a few seconds, this should change into a new status. If I open the workflow, I can always have a look what the workflow is doing. At this point, he is processing the fact he has already processed these steps, which is the last step here was Martin, and now we are waiting for the workflow to perform the next step. So if I do search, now I can see that the task has disappeared, and there it is, it's in progress. It will reappear here at this point as well. Why did it disappear in my, not tasks pending, my active tasks? Why did it disappear? Because when it is under modification, it does not give you the access to that record. So for a few seconds it disappeared from your view, not of course from the global view, but from your individual view. If I open the current task, I will see that now Marcus Irwin has to perform this task. If I look at the email, this is the email that the person got. So as you can see, you can use your email or you can work in the Workflow Reporter. If I have a look here in the email, one mail came in, and this is of course exactly the same mail that we are looking at in the Workflow Reporter. You could copy paste the URL here, but we made it a little bit more easy. You can click here on this link and see the result immediately in your browser. So in the workflow, we defined that only the approved assets were moving on to the approver, so only this file came to this person, and still the instruction files are available, also that extra file that was moved into the instruction files. And if I approve this, I do not have to set comment if it's not made mandatory. I can now confirm I'm submitting my task, I'm pleased with the result, and this task will close itself and the approver is ready, has finished his job. When we go back and have a look at what is happening with the task, again it's under modification, so it disappeared, but on top of that it will never reappear here because the task is, once it's processed by the backend, completely finished. So if I have a look in the finished workflows, I can check on, I can sort, for instance, on the target end date. I can see what tasks I performed today. So here is a workflow that was completed a few moments ago, and of course if I click open task mail, I will not see any tasks, there will be not any current, so I'm going directly to this one, and I can see the last instruction here was a create collection. So create collection task was executed. If I have a look, I will see that there was an email sent to the manager with the result. If I click on this, I get right into the site's collection basket, where I have the original instruction file and I have the approved PDF. So this was an example of how you can nicely move files inside or outside a workflow, or inside or outside the workflow assets catalog. Thank you for joining me, and see you in the next movie.